let's talk about the 3 things that all great writing teachers do. Now, before we dive into everything, make sure that you subscribe where you're watching this video for more YouTube videos like this. Okay, let's talk about the 3 things that all great writing teachers do. They're very simple, and yet I think sometimes that we forget about the importance of them. So the first things first, and we'll dive into each one of these separately, is you want to make sure that you are using a scope and sequence. And scope and sequence that covers, hopefully this will, there you go. Scope and sequence that covers the entire school year. So we'll talk about that in depth in just a moment. Obviously, using a rubric to make grading so much faster. We have a whole separate YouTube video all about this that I'll link for you in the description of this video. And then also making writing engaging for our students, especially right off the bat. We want to get them excited about our writing unit. So we'll use things like, and I'll show you this to you as well, a detective lesson activity to talk to students about finding evidence and justifying their reasoning and things along those lines. And this is also a free resource that we will include the link for you where you're watching this video as well, so you can grab this free resource. So let's go ahead and dive into each one of these separately. All right, so let's talk about the first thing that all great writing teachers do, and that is that they use a scope and sequence. And in my scope and sequence example here, you can see how I have all of the months of the school year laid out and when I'm teaching each writing style. So first things first is back to school, we dedicate to narrative writing. This is what we teach our EB teachers to do. This is what Jessica and I did for years. And it's a great writing win for students right off the bat before they get into the more complicated, EBW approach, which is our signature approach, part of our EB writing program focused on literary analysis. So August, back to school, all about narrative writing. September, we'll move into our EBW approach. And I know, that's a 5-6 week long unit. So that's going to span the months of September and October. And what's cool about this scope and sequence here that you'll see is then in October, I also have my narrative writing mini assignment. So here is where I'm making sure that I am spiral reviewing my content from the beginning of the year. Same thing with December, I have narrative writing spiral reviewed again in February, etc. So then I'm also going to start to introduce a different writing style once I finish the EBW approach, because the way that we teach the writing in our EB writing program is, every other writing style builds off of the EBW approach except for narrative writing. So then I get to move into expository writing, problem solution writing and cause and effect writing and descriptive writing and all that fun stuff that has the foundations of the EB writing approach. So having a scope and sequence is going to show me throughout the school year where each of my writing styles are taught, ensuring that I actually am covering all of the writing standards that I get to cover throughout the year, as well as spiral reviewing those narrative writing units on a consistent basis. So in addition to a scope and sequence, the second thing that all great writing teachers do is they use a response to literature rubric or an essay rubric that really is standards aligned. This is a great rubric that allows you to grade quickly, with precision, with great feedback for your students, as well as in-depth feedback for them to really improve their writing when they go to sit down to, make revisions or write their next response to literature. So instead of going in-depth with you with that here, I'm going to link the YouTube video that I recorded that is how to grade an essay that talks all about this rubric and is super, super helpful. So that's the second thing that all great writing teachers do. Then the last thing that all great writing teachers do is we use engaging resources with our students before we're introducing a concept. So here you can see this activity, the case of the missing pearls. Students read through this really interactive text about the missing pearls, pearls go missing, et cetera, very clear, right, what it is about. And then students have their own detective notepad where they're creating a case report essentially, like you can see in the example here, where students are formulating a claim based on who they believe stole the necklace. Then they're going to write their premise, what's their reason why they think Coach Swift in this example is the one who stole the necklace. Then they're going to provide clear evidence from the text as well as justify their reasoning. And what's great about this is it directly aligns with our EBW approach that we teach in our EB writing program. So students are practicing with these concepts in the same exact way in which we teach writing through that lens. So this is a free resource for you that you can grab where you're watching this video. And hopefully you find those 3 things that great all writing teachers do extremely helpful. All right, so I'm sure that you see the value in using these resources in your own writing program. You want to make sure that you have a strong scope and sequence, that you are using a rubric to make your life a whole heck of a lot easier. Definitely make sure that you go check out that other YouTube video that I have. And then of course, engaging our students with fun activities right off the bat to get them hooked and excited about writing, as opposed to some boring, mundane lesson to begin your writing units with. All right, definitely make sure that you check out other videos on our YouTube channel and subscribe so that you can get more of this.